What's keeping you stuck? What's really keeping you in survival mode? You feel like life is passing you by and you're not getting a chance to do the things that you were called to do. You're not getting a chance to enjoy life because everything is rush, rush. Everything is robbing Peter to pay Paul. Everything is just this humdrum life where you wake up, you eat breakfast, you go to sleep, you take the kids to school, you come back home, and you repeat the same cycle over and over and over again. I can relate to where you are because I've been there. I remember after my divorce, like going through the separation and going through the divorce, I was in survival mode and didn't even realize it until things just started becoming repetitious. And I'm like, I'm moving. I feel like I'm moving, but nothing is changing. Now you have to understand, I am a natural go-getter. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been the fire starter and things of that nature, very secure in myself, knowing my identity, knowing my purpose, to becoming this person of not even knowing who she was anymore, not even knowing what I was doing anymore. Everything that I put my hands to was not prospering the way it used to be because I was stuck in this survival mode mindset, because that's really all it is. I was stuck in this survival mode mindset that was keeping me from seeing what God had for me. And yes, that was brought upon by grief, but a couple of years had gone by, and I'm like, why am I still in this same situation? Because I was still holding on to the old me, my old life, and not trying to recognize what God was doing new through me and in me. And during that time, it was very heart-wrenching because I was looking at my peers and looking at myself, and I'm like, what happened to you? Like, why aren't you thriving and moving and shaking the way you're normally, the way you were used to? And yes, we go through traumatic things and we go through trauma, and I get that. But there has to come a time where you have to become sick and tired of being sick and tired of going through the same things, not getting what you want, hearing your kids say, Mom, I need this, or Dad, I need that, and you're not able to provide that. I was doing a TikTok live last night, and I had a couple of hundred people on there. And I was, not that I was shocked, but I was so amazed about how many people were tuned in. And this was around 12 o'clock at night, 12:30. I think I was on there for about an hour and a half. We got off about 1 something, and people were still hanging on to every word because they were stuck. They were stuck in survival mode. They felt like life was passing them by, and they were just trying to get some advice on how to move forward. And we had a good old time. We were just talking about, stories, and we were talking about having big wins and small wins. And people were commenting like, some people were like, I'm stuck right now. I don't know what to do. Others were like, well, I was stuck, but I started changing my narrative and changing things in my life. And now I'm starting to see the light again. And it just made me so godly proud because I know what being stuck in survival mode feels like. It is not a good feeling. You question God, you question yourself, and you question everything around you because you don't even know who you are anymore. Now, we did talk about 3 main things that I'm about to share with you right now that I believe that will be helpful for you on how to get yourself out of survival mode. Number 1, you got to identify what got you in survival mode in the first place. And then you have to learn how to regulate your nervous system. We don't realize how damaged our nervous system becomes because we've been in survival mode for so long. And when your nervous system is becoming damaged and you're always on edge and you're always antsy and you can't sleep and you're always griping at something because you are not fulfilled and happy with where you are. Some ways that you can regulate your nervous system is you just have to make a decision. Like, if we can just understand that just making a small, solid decision to not be in survival mode anymore, it does wonders. See, when you change your mind to say, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm done. And I don't care what your circumstances look like. Your life can still look the same. You can still lack income. You can still be living where you don't want to live. You can still have unfavorable results in your home. But as soon as you make a decision to say, I am not going to live in survival mode anymore in my mind first, then everything around you will begin to change. You will get out of that fight and flight mode, right? And everything is mindset anyway. So when you change your mindset from the decision, then you will start to think different. And when you think different, you'll start to do things differently. Even though your life in front of you may still look the same house, the same spouse, the same, job, the same people in your family that may drive you up the wall sometimes. That still may be the same, but your outlook on it is different. That will start to relax your nervous system. Another thing that you can do to relax your nervous system, create a hobby. Start doing things that make you feel good again, right? You used to do things that you enjoy. You used to crochet, go to the park, ride your bike, do something, go to the gym, and you stopped because survival mode took over and everything was go go go, or you're thinking so hard on how to try to make the next dollar that you stopped doing the things that you loved and enjoyed. And only you know what they are. Even if it's just taking long baths at night, even if it's just taking a walk, taking a dog out, eating something different, dressing different, changing your outlook. And we'll get into that in a minute, but you just have to identify what that thing is or what those things are that you can implement back into your life or add to your life. Maybe there's some new things that will help you to regulate your nervous system. And it really can happen overnight. Sometimes it's going to take time because you have to learn how to build a habit, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't start, you'll make yourself sick. You'll end up on high blood pressure medicine if you're not already on it. Hyperthyroidism medicine. You don't want to put illnesses within your body because of survival mode. That's not how God intended us to live. Next, you want to start rebuilding your rhythm and start rebuilding your identity. We don't want the old identity. We want a new identity, right? So, what are some of the things that you like? Think about how you want to change your life, right? Do you want a new hairstyle? And I know these things may seem minute, but I'm telling you right now, the small changes make a huge difference. So you want a new hairstyle, you want to start adding new things into your life. You want to move. You want to move your location. And you're probably saying, well, I don't even have extra money to do any of that. Start doing the small things by, looking online, going to look at homes, even though you seemingly can't afford it right now. Start putting things in your visual, start seeing things differently, because when you start to see the things that you desire, even though you feel like you can't have it, when you start to see them, your mind and your brain and your creative side starts to think about ways and opportunities that you can get it. You'll start surrounding yourself around people that talk about it, or surround yourself around people that have it, and you'll get out of that stinking thinking, and you'll start to find yourself calming down and getting excited again. And to put a cherry on top of that, change your wardrobe. I was saying last night in the live, we were talking, and I said, even if you don't have the physical dollars in your pocket right now to go on a huge shopping spree, go to the thrift store. Now, hear me clearly when I say this. I'm not saying you have to live your entire life in a thrift store, but go to a nice thrift store in your area, or maybe drive to the next town over and get a couple of nice pieces. Dress yourself up. Look the part. Because when you look good, you feel good. Do your hair, do your nails, do your feet. Do a facial, at-home facial. Go to one of your local go to one of your local stores, and buy some facial creams and little makeup. Change your appearance. That will help you to start becoming this new identity. You're creating a new personal profile. And in the interim, people will be attracted to that and opportunities will start chasing you down. And I would say the last thing is just restructuring your stability, and just create some small wins. Stop looking at, stop thinking that you have to have these ginormous big wins. If you don't have these big wins, then you're doing nothing. Small wins mean a lot. You may have walked a mile. You may have even thought about walking a mile. You may even have put your sneakers on to go do it, but maybe you got distracted. That's a small win, whether you believe it or not, because at least you were on your way. Now, the next day, you think about it, you put your sneakers on, you actually open the front door and walk out. So you have to think about it like that instead of beating yourself up, because what survival mode does, it puts you in this mental prison that you're not good enough. It puts you in this mental prison that things are not going to change, things are not going to get better, and you're always going to be stuck in this little cycle. You might as well just die like this. So, no, that is not the life that God intended for us. And I'm going to say that again. Set one weekly goal that's about progress and not performance and perfection. See, when you think that you have to perform all the time, and this could come from childhood trauma too, and this is not what this is about, but let's go there for a minute. Maybe growing up, whoever your caretakers were, whoever your teachers were, your peers, always expected something of you, and you always perform to get an attaboy. You always perform to get an A or a B. You always perform to get allowance or something of that nature, right? And if you did not perform, that means you weren't good. If you did not perform, that means you weren't being paid attention to. And it's so unfortunate because so many people grow up with that in their life and intertwines in your adulthood. And now it just takes over. So everything you do is performance based. Everything you do is perfection based. And if you make a small little mistake, you scratch it all. And then you beat yourself up and now you go harder. And as you go harder, you're tiring yourself out. Pay attention to the small wins. You clean the house. That's a small win. And you're saying in your mind, yes, that's what I'm supposed to do. Yes, we are supposed to be clean and neat. But there could have been a time when you weren't cleaning it and you did. So that's a small win. Jot that down. Because the more you celebrate your small wins, your confidence will begin to grow. And now you'll start to see, wait a second. I don't deserve to be treating myself like that, number one. And I definitely don't deserve for someone else to be treating me that way. Once you begin rewiring your mindset, your life is going to look so different. Your children won't even recognize you. And here's the kicker. Your money will begin to grow because your self-esteem is growing. You'll start to value what you have. Other people will begin to value what you have. And this is why just understanding your mindset is so important, because we've been putting ourselves in these prisons for so long and our life has just been passing us by. And it's just so unfortunate because all of the gifts that God put within us, we're not getting them out. I always like to repeat what Miles Monroe and Les Brown said: the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard, because we leave here with all the gifts, the talents, the skills, the abilities, the stories, the voices that God has given us, and we never got them out. I want to leave empty. I don't want to leave full. I want everything to be going, and I want that for you too. So we must make a pact that we have to get out of this survival mode and start living. And I don't care what age you are, 40, 50, 60, even 70. Life is to be lived. And if you are on this side with your breath, you have another opportunity to do it. So we talked about making a decision. We talked about regulating your nervous system. We talked about recreating a new identity. We talked about celebrating small wins, creating stability in your life by one small goal a week, and not being perfect, not being performance based. God is calling you to peace and purpose. Now, if this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Tell me what one of your small wins is going to be this week, or what are some of the small wins that you've already accomplished. I would love to hear it and communicate with you. I would love that. So if you're already, subscribed to me, thank you. But if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get more videos like this. I love pouring it out. I love seeing people change because I've been there. I know what a tragedy it could be to feel that way. So I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.